Halloween is supposed to be fun, a night of harmless scares. But every so often, we're reminded the scariest stories aren't found in haunted houses. They're hiding in plain sight, at the bottom of a candy bag, hanging from a tree branch, or walking down a neighborhood street and never coming home. Tonight, 3 stories. 1 crime, 1 tragedy, and 1 legend that still lingers. Before we get too cozy, I'm Matt, and this is Strange Ordinary. Strange stories, ordinary people. The kind that make you check your candy twice. If you're into that, we upload 2 videos a week. So, light a candle, lock the door, and don't forget to subscribe. Now, back to the story. It was a cold, rainy Halloween night in 1974 in Deer Park, Texas. Parents were driving kids from block to block because of the weather. Children, still determined, went house to house with umbrellas dripping, candy bags filling up. Among them was 8-year-old Timothy O'Brien. His father, Ronald, walked with the kids. He was the picture of respectability. A church deacon, a family man, someone you would never suspect. But behind the umbrella he carried that night, Ronald O'Brien was hiding something darker. When the kids returned, O'Brien handed out what looked like a prize. 5 giant pixie sticks, each one stapled shut at the top. The kind of oversized candy every kid wanted. He gave 1 to Timothy, 1 to his daughter Elizabeth, and 3 other neighborhood children. But only Timothy ate his. Within hours, Timothy began vomiting uncontrollably. He convulsed, and then he died. The autopsy revealed cyanide, enough to kill not just 1 child, but several. At first, panic swept across Houston. The police rushed door to door, warning parents, seizing candy bags. Was there a madman poisoning children at random? Was this the nightmare parents had whispered about for years? Strangers slipping razors, poison, and needles into candy. But the truth was worse. Tests showed the poison pixie sticks came all from one source: Ronald O'Brien himself. Investigators pieced it together. O'Brien had taken out massive life insurance policies on his children just months earlier, totaling nearly $60,000. He was deeply in debt and had planned to kill them for the payout. His mistake? Giving poison candy to the other children as well. He had stapled the tops of the pixie sticks shut to hide the cyanide powder inside. But one of those kids never opened theirs. Police recovered it and realized the scope of his plan. During the trial, the evidence piled up. Ronald had spoken to colleagues about cyanide. He had debts that he couldn't pay, and he had been the only one who knew where the candy came from. And most damning, no one else on that street had given out pixie sticks that night. So in 1975, Ronald O'Brien was convicted of capital murder. On death row, he became known as the Candy Man, or the man who killed Halloween. He was executed in 1984, but his legacy lives on. To this day, parents still check candy bags every Halloween. Rumors of poison candy persist, but the reality is it almost never happens. The myth was born from 1 man's greed and 1 child's death. A single Halloween night in Houston created a cultural fear that still haunts us 50 years later. Frederica, Delaware, Halloween week 2005. The town was quiet, its houses draped in decorations, pumpkins glowing on porches, skeletons hanging from trees, and fake corpses propped on lawns. On one street, a figure dangled from a rope tied to a branch. Drivers slowed, glanced, and kept moving. Neighbors walked past, some even waved, and for hours, no one thought twice. When daylight broke, the truth emerged. It wasn't a decoration. It was the body of a 42-year-old woman who had died by suicide. Her name was never splashed across headlines. To most, she became the Halloween decoration that wasn't. But she was a person. Someone who had lived quietly, struggled privately, and, in a tragic twist, went unnoticed even in death. And that's what makes this story haunting. Not just the image of a body mistaken for a prop, but the reminder that she was invisible both in life and her final moments. Halloween is about pretending. Ghosts, ghouls, things that aren't real. But here, a woman's death was mistaken for something fake. And the fact that no one noticed, that may be the darkest part of all. Every Halloween, parents whisper the same warning. Keep an eye on your kids because some never come home. It's an urban legend, the vanishing trick-or-treater. But like most legends, it's rooted in truth. And as a father, one of my biggest fears. 1955 in Chicago. 2-year-old Stephen Craig was playing in his front yard while his family prepared for Halloween night. At some point, he vanished. Just gone. Neighbors searched alleyways. Police combed the streets. But he was never seen again. At 2 years old, he didn't even understand the idea of Halloween. One moment he was there, and the next he was gone. A reminder of how fragile safety really is. 1981, New York. 12-year-old Shaina Kirkpatrick left for trick-or-treating, laughing with friends, candy bags swinging. She never made it home. Her case remains unsolved to this day. What made her case chilling wasn't just her disappearance, but the silence afterwards. No answers, no closure. Her parents went to bed that night hoping she'd be found at a friend's house. She wasn't. 2001, Pennsylvania. Hyung Jong Song, a 21-year-old college student at Penn State, went to a Halloween party with her friends. She dressed as a bunny, danced, drank, laughed. Friends thought she made it home that night, but the next morning her apartment was empty. Her phone, purse, and keys were inside, but Cindy was gone. Her case remains one of Pennsylvania's most unsettling mysteries. 3 different decades, 3 different lives. A toddler, a preteen, and a college student, but all connected by one night, Halloween. The legend of the vanishing trick-or-treater isn't just a story told to scare kids. It's a patchwork of real cases blurred together over time. And maybe that's what makes it so terrifying. The possibility that this urban legend is just reality, wearing a mask. Halloween thrives on shadows, costumes, and masks. But the scariest moments don't come from haunted houses or campfire stories. They come from a father handing out poison candy, from a woman who was invisible in life and even in death, from children who vanish into the dark and never return. That's the real horror of Halloween. The monsters don't always look like monsters. Sometimes they look ordinary. Still working your way through that candy bowl? You might as well work your way through another video too. Click here. It's a different kind of strange, but just as haunting. 2 news stories every week. So light a candle, lock the door, and remember, it's not always the costumes that you should be afraid of.